Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Frank Granito and Donald Eng in studio for you today as we get ready for today's show. Don, I wanted to start out by saying, it was a lot of fun talking football with Dave Rudin yesterday. It was great to preview the FCX, but I'm very excited for our guest today because we've got a totally different kind of football, and I want to introduce our first of two guests today, and that's head coach Bernie Armstrong of the Southwestern Connecticut Grizzlies. Coach, how are you doing today?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for taking time. And Coach, you run an interesting program. It's a club team from the community college level. Can you explain really what this program is for our viewers at home?
Sure, that's no problem at all. Basically put, we're the only community college-based football program in the state of Connecticut. Our program caters to all those fantastic kids that were awesome high school athletes, definitely have some college offers, but did not have the SAT score or the high school GPA to go on to a four-year school, and in some cases did not have the financial resources to go to some of those maybe more well-known prep programs or post-grad programs around the country. So we partner with all 12 community colleges in the state of Connecticut. The kids can go to any of those 12 schools, take a minimum of 9 credit hours. We pull them in, we practice and play in the Bridgeport, Connecticut area. And at the end of the day, our goal is to help get them into a 4-year school of choice.
And Coach, how did you come up with the idea for this type of program in the Connecticut area? Where did it stem from?
Well, it's funny. I actually, at one point, was affiliated, always coached high school in the area, the Danbury High School. Now I'm currently at Fairfield Ludlow High School. And would always see these excellent former high school players, would see the kids, bump into kids, and I would ask what they're doing. And in a lot of cases, they weren't doing anything. They by the time they got to their senior year, their SAT scores or their high school GPAs kind of caught up with them, and they couldn't make admissions into 4-year schools. And like I mentioned earlier, there's a percentage of kids that, go into some of the, $10,000, $15,000 a year prep programs, just wasn't financially feasible for them. And so myself and a few other people, a man named Peter Cox, who used to be in Bridgeport, just most recently retired and moved down to Florida, kind of put pen to paper and created a program in 2010. And we've been up and running ever since.
Now, Coach, you have some limitations there playing as a club program versus a varsity collegiate program. Why are the Grizzlies remaining as a club program?
The number one reason, and we've had some opportunities to move up to be considered to fall into some of the local junior college leagues. Our biggest thing is by being a club program, we can preserve our kids' athletic eligibility. We know our kids, the biggest thing is they want to play the game. And we want to give them as much time to play the game because we understand that that's a carrot for them to continue their college education. By being a club level participant, those kids actually do not lose any athletic eligibility while participating in our program. So, for example, our average kid takes a minimum of 9 credit hours per semester. Some of our kids take on the opportunity of participating in 2 years or 4 semesters in our program. So some of those kids actually can leave us, walk into a 4-year school with 35 credits, almost being a junior academically, but they walk in as a freshman athletically, with still having their full eligibility intact. We find that is a total advantage for our program, and it gives our kids a chance to actually go to that 4-year school and come in with credit, but also have their full 4 years preserved for themselves.
Now, Coach, you just said something that I'd never thought about, but it's actually remarkable when you think about it. A kid that leaves your program might be 19 or 20 years old. He's got enough credits that he's practically a college junior, and he has 4 years of eligibility. You could almost play your way to a master's degree coming out of this program.
And one of my better players out of our program, his name is Tyler Harris. He was an awesome high school player out of High in New Haven, and came to us He actually busted his hump at Gateway Community College, got his associates, went to Western Connecticut State, was a standout player there, and graduated and actually started taking grad classes his last semester of eligibility. So he totally fit the profile of exactly the opportunity that our program can provide.
Now, Coach, you talked about how they're required to take courses while they're with you. Are those academic requirements coming from you and your staff, or is that per the NCAA that they have to take X amount of classes or credits to be able to play with you?
Well, we're a non-NCAA program, so that's another reason that, like I said, we don't fall into the eligibility standard. But our program states that our kids must take 9 credits per semester. Our conference that we play in, our club level conference that we play in, the kids only can take a minimum of 6. Now, we propose 9 because our goal, like I said, 100%, is to get our kids an opportunity to accumulate some credit so they can become transfer students into 4-year programs.
Okay. Now, how long? Now, this program hasn't been around very long. Did I read this correctly? I'm looking here. 38 kids have gone on to playing college football. Is that number accurate?
Actually, we've pumped that number up. That was as of last season. This year's crop, our 2015 group, we actually had 12 of those guys. So I need to add to that number 38. We had 12 of those guys from our last year's roster fall into 4-year schools over the next, actually moving in the next couple of days for some of those guys. So, yeah, we've been very successful with that movement. It's been great for us. We've been promised with some great guys over the years, and they've done their side in terms of getting their academics in order and going on to a 4-year program.
Now, Coach, you guys have obviously had a lot of success. You won your conference championship last year. You've won 2 national championships since 2011. Do you receive any kind of support from the state or some of the community colleges for that matter, or is this all run internally through the program?
We're an independent program, so all of our funding comes from great sponsors and great supporters, friends and family of our players. Our players do pay a registration fee, and last year we were lucky enough, with the help of State Representative John Shaden, to receive a grant from the state of Connecticut for the very first time that covered some of our educational costs. But in the big picture, we're an independent group. We do not get any funding from the community colleges. And like I said, last year was the first time we received any sort of funding from the state. But we make it work. We lucky enough, we have some great friends that love what we do, and some great donations that come our way to make sure our program stays afloat.
Okay. Now, Coach, I know you recruit primarily from the local area, from Connecticut, the Connecticut Community College system. If a kid is interested in contacting, how should he get a hold of you?
Well, he can definitely check out our website at swcgrizz.com. To ask us any questions, to feel free. At some of the universities, like some of the community colleges, like Housatonic and Gateway, because we have so many kids who've attended there in the past, they can definitely contact us by way of the admissions department at those types of schools. But definitely checking out our website and being a part of what we do there, can definitely work for any people that have an interest.
And Coach, just one more question for you here quickly. With all the success you guys have had, and not just at a competitive level, but with pushing kids on to the next level and seeing them at 4-year colleges, seeing them graduate and earn degrees, do you think this is the kind of model that could catch on with some other sports like basketball or baseball even?
Absolutely. And actually, I've had some conversations with Housatonic Community College about that, about baseball maybe being the next movement that we look to do, soccer. Being another movement that we may look to do. 2 sports that have great club leagues around that also, like I said, there's a large number of kids that meet that same criteria that do not have that SAT score or that high school GPA to get them into a 4-year school. Those kids choose their local community college to have that sport there for them, to kind of cultivate their skills and to push them into that 4-year school. I think it makes a whole lot of sense for folks.
Well, Coach, it's an unbelievable program what you're doing, and we're very excited to follow you throughout the year. We'll hope you come back on with us again once you get into your season. We know practice starts on Saturday, so we wish you guys the best of luck, and thank you again for taking time with us.
Hey, thanks for the call. We'd love to.
Sounds good. That was, again, Coach Bernie Armstrong of the Southwestern Connecticut Grizzlies Club football team. Don and I will take a break, but when we come back, we'll be joined by the head coach of the Harding wrestling program that has just been cut by the state.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook. For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
Hi, this is Leo Carl from Carl Chevrolet in New Canaan, and you've heard me talk about the Chevy Volt for years. The new model gets 53 miles on EV charge daily, plus 420-mile full range. But don't take my word for it. You need to come in and test drive the Volt yourself. Visit us at 261 Elm Street in New Canaan or online at carldirect.com.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with the Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
Give your day a jumpstart with the latest news, sports, weather, and more on Coffee Break, live on the HAN Network, weekdays at 11 a.m. Connecticut news doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break.
And we welcome you back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Frank Granito and Donald Eng in studio today, and we are joined now by the wrestling and football coach of Warren Harding High School. That is Eddie Santiago. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having us.
Now, obviously, if you've seen it in the Connecticut Post or you heard yesterday on WGCH radio, the wrestling program, along with several other Bridgeport school programs, has been cut due to some of the state budget cuts. Coach, can you explain where exactly these budget cuts are coming from for us?
Well, we know that the city's in a big deficit right now, and we knew cuts were going to come, and we're not getting the state funding that is needed to support our city at the moment, and we were at the tail end of that. We were one of the sports that offer wrestling in Bridgeport, and no other school offers it, so they were cutting out most of these individual sports like indoor track, wrestling, and some of those other sports.
And we saw that along with some of the boys and girls tennis at Central with lacrosse. You had golf and indoor track and cross country, like you mentioned. It's really a shame. But you guys have set up a goal. You're working through a GoFundMe page. Who's at the helm of that helping you out?
Well, we were going to start the camp with Detective Kelly reached out to me at a parade, and he wanted to throw a camp for the inner city. And literally like 2 days after speaking with him, I got the phone call that the budget was going to be cut. And, you know, Detective Kelly really went after it and set up the GoFundMe for us. And he took the helm. He's running the camp here at Harding, the 3-day camp. We have high-caliber talent coaches coming by. Olympic wrestler Andy Sayers will be here tomorrow. We had the Wesleyan head coach came this afternoon. Jason Shaughnessy, head coach at Fairfield Wardy, and the success he's had with his program. So we got some high-caliber talent coming to our camp this week.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned a lot of the talent coming to the camp, a lot of the fundraising. It seems like the wrestling community is really rallying around this program. Is it something? Is that kind of a unique aspect of wrestling that where you guys are competitors, but you're also wrestlers, and there's a certain sense of community to that group.
Yeah, I think we all understand it's a tight-knit community, and our sport, the sport of wrestling, doesn't get that big-time exposure compared to the basketball, football, and things that are more in the limelight. So the wrestling community really understands that, hey, we got to help out and give back and save this program. And they've come together. It's so tremendous to see all these coaches and all these alumni come back and start a team to get this money back into our program and help these kids out. These kids are in need. They are working their butts off every day. Our coaches do a great job here of buying food and all that, and transportation, all that stuff that goes into it really comes out of my staff's pockets. And they're taking a hit also because that part of that is going to be the salary cuts with it. And we were just in a tough position right now, but we think we could raise the money and make this thing really take off.
Now, Coach, you talked about how hard your players are working to make sure that they're going to have a season next year. Obviously, we want to see them be able to compete athletically, and we want to see them. I mean, you're just 2 years removed from having a state champion on your roster. But what role does
it was last year. It was actually last year. Xavier Bass won it last year at 195 and won it before at 182 for us, and our numbers have really swelled.
Yeah, no, excuse me. I'm sorry. That's right. It was last year. It was Xavier Bass. But what role does wrestling play in the lives of these kids in this inner city, environment now, where they're being having that taken away from them?
Well, we got tough demographics here, and the city is a tough place to grow up in. I'm a direct product of the program itself, and just self-esteem and feeling good about yourself and doing something positive. This is something positive that these kids could grasp and really get after it. And me being the football coach, I was able to get more players to participate in the wrestling program. And these sports complement each other. And so our football team is really our wrestling team. So, this is some way that we keep all of our players engaged through the winter. And we've had tremendous success recently. And they really enjoy it. They come to these facilities and they never really want to go home. Some of these kids have tough lives at home. They'd rather be here, and it keeps them off the street. We're saving lives. We're saving 25 to 30 lives in the winter that are not out there in the street getting into any trouble that they may be able to have access to that, the community is based around. There's a lot of violence in our city. There's a lot of things going on, but this is one of the few things in our city that's highlighted that's really, really good and that's taken off in the recent years.
Coach, I wanted to piggyback on that because knowing the circumstances that a lot of these kids come from, and knowing that athletes, in season and athletes in general, tend to have higher grade point averages and do better academically in schools than their peers do. This is a program that keeps kids off the streets, gives them direction, and it's not that much money. How much are we talking about here? Just let the listeners know.
It's $18,000 to run the program completely. It's the cheapest sport. There's really no overhead but the transportation and salaries, janitor's fees, and security fees, and all that stuff combined is a bulk of $18,000. But just like you said, these kids, man, they come from a tough home, and maybe this is the one hand that they're holding on to that gets them up out of bed every day and gets them to the school. And the success that we had on the field and on the mat, we have 11 of our 12 seniors that graduated, that are in college right now, that are playing at the next level, and we have one in the military. So, this is a way for kids to come back and really make Harding's graduation rate soar. We're helping that. We're helping that cause because we believe in Harding. We believe in our administrators here. But we need, like I said, we need help.
And Coach, you made a great point. It helps Harding's graduation rate, which you can't say enough. But it's also now, you look at, you've got the GoFundMe page going on, you've got the camp going on, and the support has already been obvious. What are the other steps you guys are going to take in order to accomplish that goal of $18,000?
We got to continue to work, keep networking, keep shaking hands. Our kids do a lot of community service, so it's important for us to be in the know and give back. We're not asking for just a handout here. We want you to know that our kids are involved in the community. Actually, this Thursday we'll be participating with the fire department, painting fire hydrants on the east end of their town, and that within itself, right there, getting that exposure with our fire department and the police department. I failed to mention them. They're probably the biggest piece that's the driving force for saving the camp. The police department has directly affected the program, and they stepped up so much. Detectives Kelly's have brought many officers into the camp, and there have been just great support by our police department, and I'm very ecstatic about that.
Now, Coach, if someone wants to get involved and help out, you said we mentioned there's a GoFundMe page. What's the address?
Yep, it's at WHHS Presidents. That's the Twitter page.
So
And you can go to any of our coaches on Facebook. We've been sharing it all week, so you could go there and find it also.
And the actual GoFundMe page is called Save Harding Wrestling. They raised almost $1,000 in their first 2 days. We will see that number continue to rise. Coach, if there's anything else you wanted to say to those who are listening out there about how else they can get involved or what they can do to show their support, please let us know.
I would like for anybody out there that's listening, if you could stop by tomorrow and see the camp and see the amount of kids that are out there working. And we have an Olympic wrestler coming tomorrow, Andy's here, so it's going to be a fun event. The more we raise the awareness, the more we give the exposure, the better off we're going to be.
And give us the time and location of that camp again for the listeners.
It's at Warren Harding High School. The camp runs from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And we've actually, Coach, we've got up on the screen right now. It is your GoFundMe page. We can see that you are up to $2,000+ now. You've had 34 people who have donated in just the 3 days it has been up. So you guys are definitely trending in the right direction. I do want to ask, Coach, because obviously you guys left the FCAC last year. You're now in the CSC, and that's a bigger travel commitment than being in the FCAC and just ranging from Greenwich to Bridgeport. Does that travel hurt the budget of the wrestling program compared to when you were in the FCAC?
Slightly, I would say so, yes. But, the one thing about the wrestling program, our schedule is kind of open. And like we said, the wrestling community is a real tight-knit community. And I have a lot of friends that, I was still able to get those FCAC matches. We go right down the street to Ward with Jason Shaughnessy. We go to various other tournaments that are local here at Ludlow. So it's just, I guess I would say it's just more of it would be about the same, but we do travel more to Hartford, so it might increase that transportation rate.
Right. Hey, Coach, last thing for me here before we let you go. You did mention that the Harding football and wrestling team, how close knit they are. Camps opened yesterday for teams that did not have spring practice. How are the Warren Harding Presidents looking this year? Are we looking at a return to the state playoffs? And also, can you tell us what it was like at the school last year, having that playoff run for the football team?
Again, start with the way that. Excuse me, there's out here. But the way it worked out with Xavier winning that first state championship at 182, he was kind of the driving force, and his leadership skills were great for us. And it really drove us to go to that 10-0 season and make that playoff run, and gain that success. And I think this year we're just as good as a football team as we were last year. And that may shock some people that Harding football is a program now, and it's a brand. And we're excited about this season. We got Eric Jones, our quarterback this year. We lost Tyson Pumajan, but we have an excellent senior quarterback taking the helm this year.
Well, you don't go 10-0 by fluke, Coach, and we very much expect to see Harding back in the mix at the top of their state class and competing again. We want to thank you for coming on. Again, everyone, it's Save Harding Wrestling is the GoFundMe page. It's at WHHS Presidents is the Twitter account if you'd like to find more information. Coach, thank you again, and we wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you for having us.
We'll take one more break here on Nutmeg Sports. When Don and I get back, we've got a couple local stories to wrap up.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Chop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor, I'm a high school football coach, I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You're watching the HAN network, and you're not alone. More than 1.5 million viewers have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment broadcasting since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Frank Granito, Donald Eng. We were just joined by Harding Wrestling and Football head coach Eddie Santiago. And Don, I just want to take a minute and talk about what we talked there with Coach Santiago. You said it best. It's a sum of $18,000, which just seems so minuscule when you to put a price on offering 11 kids out of Bridgeport the opportunity to go on to college.
Right. These are kids from a tough background, and it's like and a lot of the things, we cover a lot of these high school athletes, and we cheer when they get scholarships and things like that, and they go on to big name colleges to play football. But we heard it with Coach Santiago. We heard it with the CT Grizzlies. For a kid that goes to a small school, to a Southern Connecticut or to a Western Connecticut, to go there with their eligibility, play football, and walk out with a master's degree, this is life changing for kids that come from these backgrounds, and it's really nothing short of a travesty that for $18,000, 11 kids have a program that they worked and sacrificed for taken away from them. That to me is heartbreaking.
And it's forgotten at times when you look at the FCAC and the teams that jump right off the page are going to be the Dariens, the Greenwiches, the New Canaans, those wealthier towns. You forget about some of the towns in the FCAC, the cities of Bridgeport, that are struggling financially to compete with that. And there are kids who can't afford to go to college. And for every D1 football player that comes out of the FCAC, I can tell you right now there are 15 of them who are going to play D3. And they're not going to be being on SportsCenter every other weekend. These are kids who are playing because they love the game. And it's a way for them to continue doing it. And it's a shame to see that the Harding wrestling program, along with indoor track and cross country, golf, they're all cut at Bassick. You've got boys and girls tennis and lacrosse at Central. That's got to be cut. Girls tennis at Harding. It's unfortunate to see that the state is making sacrifices on these kids' accounts, but it's great that you've got support from the community and they're trying to find a way to make it work.
Right, that is great. And and we've been focusing on wrestling, but as you mentioned, a lot of other sports that are definitely in need. And and when you think about it, obviously you have something like a high school, and people want to protect the academics, but really, athletics, a lot of these other what we call extracurricular activities are really part of an education, particularly when, as Coach Santiago said, kids are out painting fire hydrants to raise money for their program. It clearly means something to them, and it's a shame to see them lose it if they do.
It does, and he talks about how it keeps them off the streets, but more importantly, he talks about it builds that camaraderie, and they were able to get the entire Harding football team together and bring them out to be on the wrestling team. They talk about a wrestler going and winning a state championship, and that's setting the tone for the Harding football team to go 10-0,
right, which
they had never done before. Now, they lose in the first round of the playoffs, but that's just a new experience for a young team.
Right.
And they're going to be back again, and they'll be better, but it's that community and camaraderie that you're building that comes with athletics. And we're not trying to knock academics. Obviously, right, that is the most important thing. You are a student before anything else, but it is the appreciation of what these kids are being offered, especially in a city like Bridgeport.
Sure, and the life lessons in something like specifically in something like wrestling, where the kids are, where it's not easy. It requires a lot of effort. But it teaches important lessons. About hard work and the rewards of it. So so good luck to Coach Santiago, and hopefully this program stays.
And they're trending in the right direction. $2,000 from 34 different donors in 3 days' time. They've got the camp going on. We'll see them in the community. Again, you can donate at GoFundMe.com. The page is Save Harding Wrestling. Their Twitter account is at WHHS Presidents, and they have all the information on there. That is going to do it for this episode of Nutmeg Sports. I will be back tomorrow. Don is skipping town. So we will have Dave.
Won't be going that far.
We'll have Dave Stewart in studio, as we'll be joined by Jamie Toole, the general manager of the Bridgeport Bluefish, to talk about the first place Bluefish and some of the upcoming events they've got going on at the ballpark at Harbor Yard. Coffee break at 11 a.m. with Kate Jablonski.